You could use a plethora of unflattering adjectives to describe the people who like this kind of game. And you know what? I'm fine with that. In fact, there isn't much I wouldn't be fine with while playing this game. You want to kick me in the face? Fine, whatever. Just don't stand in front of the television. Don't ruin my view of the bouncing bosoms. There's something beautiful about bouncing bosoms. I think it's the bouncing. Now, finding this stuff enjoyable doesn't make a guy perverted, it makes him a guy. Now, listen, I'm fully aware this stuff is kind of reprehensible. I realize it doesn't portray women in a very positive manner, but try not to think of it as objectification, ladies. Think of it as admiration. We like to see you the way nature intended you to be seen. In skin-tight leather, barely as wide as a stick of juicy fruit. And speaking of juicy fruit, this is Rumble Roses XX. Obviously, there are a lot of things to say about Rumble Roses XX, but among all the criticism for which this game is a rightful target, I also give it credit for being bold. This game knows what it is, and it doesn't try to be anything more. Rumble Roses XX is a male chauvinist exhibition of jiggle and wiggle, an unapologetically sexist game in a society where unapologetic sexism is unacceptable. And Rumble Roses XX is perfectly fine with being unacceptable. I'm not saying that's defensible, but at least it's unafraid to be exactly what it is. At least it has moxie and really great boobs. And speaking of which, that's the jiggly foundation upon which this game is built. For the purposes of categorization, Rumble Roses XX is a wrestling game. It also runs on a modified version of the SmackDown engine if you want to get technical about it. The thing is, none of that really matters in the slightest. This is a game about watching sexy women touch other sexy women in a borderline pornographic manner. I mean, honestly, I can't tell if this is wrestling or some kind of fetish video. Note that I said this game is about watching sexy women too. This game is much more concerned with what you're seeing than what you're doing. Case in point, when you have your opponent in a submission hold, you don't have control over the move or your character or anything, you get control of the camera. So while your girl automatically applies the hold, you get to adjust your view to make it as inappropriate as possible. If that doesn't solidify this game's main intent, the fact that you can take screenshots during these compromised situations and share them online should. I mean, there's sexy, and then there's downright filthy. And a focused crotch shot of a girl who has her leg bent in half, that's a little ridiculous. In terms of the game itself, simplicity is the key here. You can strike, you can grapple, and you can build up gauges to apply cinematic finishers that make things even more lurid. Now, there's a few customization features that allow you to change your outfits or your girl's attributes, but really it only goes as deep as letting you make her boobs bigger. That's both the greatest and worst thing I've ever seen. Rumble Roses XX is a very thin game, but it's busty in the areas it needs to be. The graphics are great, which is frankly to be expected from a game that's basically just interactive eye candy. And there's some clipping, but there are also boobs, so, you know, you probably won't notice anything other than the well-done character models, and they are very well done. The problem is there isn't much here aside from the aforementioned over and over again, boobs. The wrestling is too simple, the modes are too thin. In fact, the most enticing thing about this game is the perpetual, if fleeting, hope that you might get a nipple slip. Nonetheless, huge thanks to Paul from California for sending us this copy of Rumble Roses XX, a game that really has forever changed my perception of the term torture rack.
This is not her! Winner! Evil Rose!